Hey everyone, Tony here. Hope you're doing well. It is Thursday, January 17th. Hope you're holding strong. I have some very positive news to share with you guys. What we've been seeing, of course, in this very bad bear market that we're in right now, and seems to be a very prolonged bear market. I think if we were to this goes another month or so, I think it will be the longest bear market in the crypto market, guys. So we are certainly early adopters and pioneers. We're very young and we're very early in this market, and this market's very young. It's very volatile, and we had a parabolic run up in December 2017, and of course a major correction to follow that. But markets move in cycles, bear and bull, likewise as they do in the stock market, in the real estate market, in precious metals and so forth. No different as it relates to crypto. But the upside in crypto is very high because, as I said, we're the early adopters. We are ahead of the curve. And in this bear market, it's essentially been a lot of building, the infrastructure being built out, the foundation being laid. And we're seeing a lot of companies from traditional businesses to Wall Street to corporate America getting in, building their services, getting ready to launch and provide crypto trading, crypto custody, and various crypto services. And as well as the governments making moves to put out laws and regulations. Now it's moving a bit slower. For example, in the United States, it's been very slow, but we still have politicians and folks who are in the government who are bullish about crypto, and they're putting forth bills and legislatures. So we have to be patient, right? But we see the writing on the wall, and that's why I try to share the facts with you guys, not my feelings per se, or making up stuff here. I show you the facts because it shows what the big money is doing, the investments that are being made, and we're going to talk a bit about that today. We have some more news of other acquisitions and investments and moves being made by stock exchanges and universities and so forth. So first item, and of course, before I go further, this is not financial or investment advice. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, thumbs up as well. As many of you know, Mercury FX, a payments company, is a Ripple partner, and they were one of the first companies of the three that went live on Ripple's XRapid protocol. As many of you know, XRapid leverages XRP. But as we talked about, Mercury FX, Qualix, and Catalyst Federal Credit Union are not major banks. They are certainly provide a service, but they are not major as far as moving volume. But we have some details here, which is a good sign and a testimonial to the superior technology that Ripple is bringing with XRapid and XRP, solving a real-world problem. So they tweeted the following: "We've made our largest payments across RippleNet using XRP. Real-world adoption here. 86,633 pesos, or 3,521.67 euros. So not a lot of money, right? We're not talking about millions here. From the UK to Mexico in seconds. So, and this is just one corridor, obviously, and they're just saying they're their highest payments, or one of their largest. They made multiple payments, obviously, but that's where we are still waiting for the banks to come in, and for the banks to come in and go live. What do you need? Regulatory clarity, and that's what's been holding up a lot of Ripple's progress, but also. What have we saw Bakkt is also getting held up because of the CFTC. Many folks are waiting for a Bitcoin ETF, right? But that's on the SEC. So there's a holdup on multiple fronts. So let me continue to give you more details here. UK-based Mustard Foods saved 79 euros in 31 hours on the transaction. So obviously with XRapid, you can send it in seconds. You don't have to wait days for the money to be sent. It will improve the lives of people who are sending money home internationally to their family, and as well as businesses being able to, obviously transact faster. It will improve the speed of businesses. So Ripple is, like I said, solving a real world problem. So it goes into further details here, and Dilip Roa, who is a Ripple employee, he responded saying, "Thanks Mercury FX for the great proof points for the Ripple XRapid XRP value prop. Faster, seconds, not 31 hours, and cheaper. And obviously, like I said, just one corridor, UK to Mexico. So there you have it, guys. Proof that what Ripple is doing with XRapid actually works, and it will save companies money. But like I said, though, it's not a technical holdup. It's not a company holdup. It is a regulatory holdup. And that's why you have senators and politicians and so forth presenting different bills, like the Token Taxonomy Act, so they can have clarity, because the SEC has said that Bitcoin and Ethereum are not securities, but also they're judging it using a 70-year-old securities law, which is meant for stocks, and crypto and utility tokens don't fit that mold. So I hope you understand the situation here and what's holding up a lot of this. And I think the folks at Ripple want to move ahead and launch with these major banks and so forth. And we do have some that are, once again, live. It all depends on the corridor. I think that the items, the markets coming out of the U.S. is what a lot of these banks and so forth won't touch. But that's not to say, these other companies in these other countries that have regulatory clarity in the respective corridors, they don't have to worry about security or not security. They have launched, as you can see. So it is a waiting game. We have to be patient. But guys, Ripple has the biggest use case, the biggest utility. That is why I'm so bullish on it. Obviously, they're leveraging XRP, and I should say I'm bullish on XRP, and that's why it's the majority of my portfolio. I hold Bitcoin, Ethereum, and others, but I'm just looking at the facts here, not my feelings. If Bitcoin was being used in this way, I would be all in on Bitcoin. Bitcoin would be the majority of my portfolio. So once again, this is not my feelings, but the facts. Right? What has the potential to make me the most money? And that's why I'm so bullish on XRP. Now, as we've been discussing, big money dumping millions into the market, building out services, acquisitions, mergers, and all these things are happening. Well, Coinbase continues. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Coinbase, but I have to give them credit where credit's due, because they are doing some things to help move the market forward. Coinbase acquires Andreessen Horowitz-backed startup Blockspring. So big acquisition by Coinbase here. Blockspring, a startup that makes tools for collecting and managing data from APIs, has been acquired by Coinbase. Joining Coinbase was a no-brainer for a number of reasons, including its commitment to establishing an open financial system and the strength of its engineering team, Blockspring announced on its blog this week. Coinbase confirmed the acquisition with a Coinbase spokesperson, though the company declined to comment further. The San Francisco-based Blockspring makes it easy to pull data from various APIs into Excel and Google Sheets. The startup had been hacked by Y Combinator and a $3.4 million round. Backed. Had been backed by Y Combinator and a $3.4 million funding round from Andreessen Horowitz. So looks like Coinbase is looking to do something where you'll be able to export maybe different data around different cryptos, or even your portfolio on Coinbase. So looks like they're building out some infrastructure, as we've been stating, infrastructure stage, right? What will investors need and what will they want to use? Maybe you just want to export all your information into Excel or Google Docs, right? Into a Google Sheets. And you can look at maybe all your transactions and things along that line. So let's see what comes out of this. But once again, this is a big acquisition, and looks like Coinbase is looking to add new features. And once again, it goes back to the investments being made despite what the price is right now. But the big money is not concerned about price right now. They're looking at the bigger picture, the long term, that this is a new asset class that will take off, and it's going to be positioned the same way the stock market is. Fully regulated, money coming in and out, well-oiled machine, mainstream marketing. So that's where we're headed. Now, BitPay says it processed over $1 billion in crypto payments last year. So that's really big. US-based crypto payments processor BitPay says it processed over $1 billion worth of transactions last year, announcing the news on Wednesday. The firm said this is the second consecutive time it's reached the $1 billion mark in its over 7 years of existence. To process over $1 billion for a second year in a row, despite Bitcoin's large price drops, shows that Bitcoin is being used to solve real pain points around the world, said Stephen Pear, BitPay co-founder and CEO. Giving further highlights of the past year, the firm said its business-to-business ventures saw revenue growth of about 255% year over year as new clients, including law firms, data center providers, and IT vendors, signed up to accept crypto payments. Notable new customers added in 2018, including subscription TV provider Dish Network's online organization and security experts HackerOne, and the U.S. state of Ohio, which became the first state in the nation to allow taxes to be paid in Bitcoin back in November. So we had talked about Ohio, and I think they have OhioBitcoin.com or OhioCrypto.com, where it started with businesses that could go pay their tax revenue, and eventually will be individuals. So it looks like people have been using some of their crypto to do what they need to do, and that's a good sign as far as adoption. And obviously, people have been using different cryptos. Looks like what they're saying is the majority of it is Bitcoin. So very interesting, and a good sign that people are comfortable transacting with crypto. So that's a lot of volume there, keeping in mind how the market pretty much went into bear mode, and it's been a very long bear market. Now, MIT, Stanford academics design cryptocurrency to better Bitcoin. And as you know, MIT, you have some very smart people there, right? It's one of those school for the very talented, gifted, so to speak, as far as smart minds. So, nonprofit group has formed with hedge fund Pantera Capital. Goal is to increase the speed of processing transactions. Now, first thing I thought when I read this was, do they not know about XRP? Right? I mean, you see the comparison with XRP versus Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. It's way faster, more scalable. Those are just the facts. But I think they are. This is kind of one of those. Let's test it out. Let's see what we can build. And obviously, their measuring stick is against Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is the number one crypto. It is the brand everyone knows. So they may be looking at trying to build something around this. And I don't know if they're going to use the proof of work algorithm. That's something that's interesting. But let me give you some details here. Some of the brightest minds in America are pooling their brain power to create a cryptocurrency that's designed to do what Bitcoin has proved incapable of, processing thousands of transactions a second. Professors from 7 U.S. colleges, including Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, Stanford University, and University of California, Berkeley, have teamed up to create a digital currency they hope can achieve speeds Bitcoin users can only dream of without compromising its core tenet of decentralization. The Unit E, the virtual currency is called, is the first initiative of Distributed Technology Research, a nonprofit foundation formed by academics with backing from hedge fund Pantera Capital Management to develop decentralized technologies. So this is interesting. Let's see what they can come up with. Maybe they can create something, but who knows? It goes back to what algorithm. Is it going to be pre-mined? Or is it going to be the proof of work algorithm, which is not doing well right now? As you all know, Ethereum Classic, even Bitcoin, very slow. And miners having to shut down due to the cost of mining is very expensive. And the price of Bitcoin dropping below the price of break-even price point for these miners. So let's see what happens. This is kind of a research project, and they don't mention anything about XRP. They do mention Ethereum. So it may be they're looking to build an XRP, so to speak, where I should say, not Bill and XRP, but rather Bill's crypto that has the attributes of XRP, because that's exactly, it's scalable to 1,500 transactions per second. It's very cheap to use and very fast. So let's see what they come up with. But it goes back to, these people would not be wasting their time on this if this, if this was not real, if this wasn't something that was going to be take off and become mainstream, and they're looking and they're getting backing, they're getting funding from hedge funds like Panthera Capital, and let's see what they come up with. But it's very interesting news here. Now, some other big news. We are seeing time and time again, stock exchanges are making moves to offer cryptocurrency trading and custody service. Thailand's official stock exchange is applying for a cryptocurrency license. Now, why would they be doing that? Because they see the writing on the wall, new asset class. Let's get ahead of the curve. Let's make money off of this. So if you have been keeping tabs on the movements of Southeast Asian crypto industry, you will know that Thailand is currently becoming one of the region's major players. While neighboring nations such as Malaysia are still undecided on whether or not to make crypto legal, other countries on the subcontinent, such as Thailand, Singapore, and Hong Kong, are constantly evolving in terms of regulatory framework and leading the sector from the front of the pack. And that's where I've been talking to you guys about these other countries that are far ahead than the U.S., where obviously I live, and I'm hoping the U.S. wakes up and they can make some moves here. So the kingdom that is predominantly known as for its sun-drenched beaches, its immense cuisine, and its transgender nightlife host is becoming a major player in the Asian cryptocurrency scene. The Bangkok Post reported today that the Stock Exchange of Thailand, SET, is about to apply with the Finance Ministry for a cryptocurrency license so that they can become an above-the-board digital asset exchange. The chairperson of the Association of Securities Companies and vice president chairwoman of the SET's board of governors told the Bangkok Post, "We are not in a hurry to enter the digital asset trade, as some companies are still managing their core businesses." Well, cryptocurrencies are just one of the digital asset classes where brokers can adapt their trading platforms to serve digital trading. Securities firms are currently waiting for the SET to apply for a license. For us, digital assets are expected to grow in the future as investors gain more understanding of this asset class. That right there is what we're talking about, right? New asset class. The educational aspect is happening, right? The infrastructure part of it is happening right now. And they're going to mass market it. It's going to be global, and it doesn't close, right? Cryptocurrency exchanges don't close. You can transact and do what you got to do and make your investments. So big news, guys. I'm excited for the future of crypto here. Now, we talked a bit about Wyoming and their blockchain sandbox bill just last week. Well, there's something else coming out from there. Wyoming blockchain bill proposes issuance of tokenized stock certificates. So we've been talking about on this channel here, the token economy is where we're headed to. Everything will be on the blockchain. I've done a video on STO, security token offering, so definitely check that out if you want to learn more about it. Lawmakers from the U.S. state of Wyoming have introduced legislation that would allow issuance of tokenized stock securities using blockchain tech. On Wednesday, Representative Jared Olson, a Republican, along with Senator Chris Rothfuss, a Democrat, and 6 other Republican representatives jointly filed House Bill 0185 titled Corporate Stock Certificate Tokens, proposing an amendment that would permit the use of tokenized digital share certificates in lieu of paper-based versions. So this is where we're headed to. Real estate, all these things will be tokenized. The articles of incorporation or bylaws of a corporation may specify that all or a portion of shares of the corporation may be represented by share certificates in the form of certificate tokens, the proposed bill states. So I don't want to go too much into this, but This is a great sign, and all of these things will help to bring regulatory clarity and help the market to flourish and go beyond even just crypto and digital assets. We're heading, moving us to the token economy. And it says here, if the bill is passed, would come into effect July 1st, 2019. And here's what I was talking about previous news we just heard. Wyoming has been taking several legislative initiatives around blockchain use cases. Just last week, the state approved a bill to let blockchain startups to operate within a regulatory sandbox for a legislative vote. So big moves happening. This was what I'm talking about. You have local, you have federal governments and so forth making moves, politicians getting on board. It's just a matter of time. We got to be patient, let all these things play out, but count yourself lucky. It goes back to, my analogy that I've been making for a very long time. We're in 1995 of the internet or days, right? 96, where the educational aspect is getting there. Politicians are coming around. People are understanding, oh yeah, this internet thing can actually be useful. Yeah, we can build some stuff. And there's companies now starting to build their projects, and these tech stocks or .com stocks are starting to get noticed now, right? Just as you have crypto getting noticed now, build on the blockchain. So once you understand what took place in the 90s, you'll see a lot of comparisons and similarities here. And that's pretty much, how I think about it. RSX, backed by TD Ameritrade, even Fidelity, going to be one of those big, giant size exchanges, very similar to Bakkt. So here's their description for those of you who don't know. RSX will improve the digital asset markets with regulated, transparent spot contracts and CFTC regulated futures contracts on one platform. They're looking to do the same thing Bakkt is doing, which is offer physically backed ETFs, guys, or futures, I should say. And today they announced they have added Joseph Lubin, the co-founder of Ethereum, and the founder of Consensus, and Cris Conde have joined their board of directors. So smart move on their part. I think you need folks, who've been knee deep, waist deep into the crypto market, and you have one of the founders of Ethereum. So as I've been saying, infrastructure being built out, hires, acquisitions, mergers, all these things, services being launched, it's all coming together in this bear market with blood on the streets, because this is how smart money operates. This applies to the stock market as well, and real estate and so forth. They know what's coming, and they're getting set up. They're getting prepared, because at the end of the day, this is about making money, and they're looking to make money. So it's only a matter of time before they start pumping the market back up, mass marketing and so forth. We also have this interesting article. Kraken, Cobinhood, and Poloniex ranked the most secure exchanges in the world. So independent analysts, ICO Rating, have ranked the security of 135 platforms trading above $100,000 in crypto per day. And the results are the US-based Kraken and Cobinhood came out on top with a solid A rating, while Poloniex came in third place with an high A minus. This is interesting. Obviously, let me pull it up here for you guys. It's taking into account multiple factors to give you that A plus. That doesn't mean that the other folks who got a B didn't do well from a security standpoint. And I'll give you an example here, right? So across the board, they did well, and that's all calculated to A. But if you notice, Binance made it to number 34th, but he did really well for their security. They got a 4 out of 4 for the user account security. However, they didn't do well for, let's see here, what's this one? They didn't do well for registrar and domain security. So, and then DDoS protection and web security and so forth. But they did well for the user security. So this is interesting. And I think it's important for these type of ratings to happen, because it puts the pressure on these exchanges to be better. And I said it all the time, competition is healthy for the market. And if reports like this, we see more of it, and ratings and scales and so forth, rating all these exchanges, it will keep them honest, so they can't say, oh yeah, don't worry about that. Let's just keep making money, right? No, they need to invest and make sure the exchanges are safe and you're protected and your information, your crypto and so forth. And but still, as I always tell you guys, don't leave your crypto on the exchanges. Put it on a Ledger Nano S. That's what I personally use, and a lot of people use it as well. Some people use the Trezor, so it's up to you. If you want to buy the Ledger Nano S, there's a link in the description. Go check it out. But it gives you security, right? You don't have to worry about if the exchange shuts down, gets hacked. Your crypto is on the device. It's stored in wherever you want it, in your bank vault, or safe in your home, or wherever you store it, right? It's and it may be just you that knows where it is, and it's protected. So it allows you to obviously have your private keys. So something to think about here, guys. But I love this. And this shows the growth of the market, right? Now you have independent rating agencies coming in and saying, hey, this sucks and this is great, right? That's definitely good. That's what happens in other markets, right? That are very established. Now, if you guys recall, I think it was like a couple of weeks ago, we had news about Russia government looking to buy Bitcoin, to hedge against the U.S. dollar. But it was from this university professor in Russia or something. And I told you guys, take it with a grain of salt because it's not an official statement from the government. Well, now we have news here, I think from let's see, government official Elena Sidorenko says the company does not possess sufficient infrastructure to support cryptocurrencies. So it looks like, yeah, they're not planning to do so. And that's, like I said, the news was circulating, but like I said, you could go back and watch the video. I said, take it with a grain of salt. This is not an official statement. This is just some random guy saying this. And in the video, I even mentioned, like, it's very difficult to just drop the US dollar, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not ignorant to the fact that these people could be buying Bitcoin independently on their own. I don't know if the government itself could be doing it. But as far as the official statement, it is what it is. But we don't know. We just we can make some guesstimates. But the official statements are like, no, it's a high risk asset, blah, blah, blah. But let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. And there have been news, that we covered last year where Russia said they were planning to build their own crypto. As a lot of these governments have been trying to do, I think. And just look at Venezuela launching the Petro. So this is an interesting article. It says new UK Bitcoin exchange overwhelmed by crazy demand amid Brexit uncertainty. Now, I don't know if it's related to Brexit, but this is talking about what we discussed yesterday, Binance Jersey, the fiat exchange that Binance has launched. It's Binance.je. And essentially, but it's on Forbes. So that's why I want to highlight it, because it's interesting exposure and interesting thought process here. Because the UK has its own issues with the Brexit gridlock and the folks at Binance, I think the CEO mentioned that they're overwhelmed by registrations, but that could just be people want an easier way to buy crypto, not necessarily have something to do with Brexit. But nevertheless, it's great exposure for crypto on Forbes.com. So I just want to let you guys know that this type of information is out there. And Binance, I'm sure, is getting a lot of exposure from this. So, guys, that's the news. All great stuff. Patience is the key word here, where we're slowly seeing the movements, the infrastructure being built out. I think government regulations and clarity are much needed. It's holding up a lot. I think things could be progressing much faster. We could have probably bounced out of this bear market already if, the U.S. government made some passes certain laws. I'm hoping by next month Token Taxonomy Act gets passed. We have a partial government shutdown, which I believe is delaying a lot of stuff. So it sucks that we're at the stuck in this limbo because of the government. So, but as we saw with the internet, there was some call for regulations in the early days of the internet, and that took a while. It'll happen here likewise. It'll eventually people get educated and understand, oh, that's this is happening. This is the potential. And then we see companies like Ripple and others have been lobbying Washington, D.C. politicians. So it's all about money sometimes to get people's attention. And that's how campaign donations and politicians and all that. That's how all that works here. I'm sure in many other countries as well. But guys, what do you think about the news? Leave your thoughts and comments below. Thumbs up if you like this video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed yet. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Please help share my channel and video with your family and friends and social media so folks can be informed about the facts of what's happening in this market and the potential that is to come, guys. It's a new asset class and new revolutionary technology of blockchain. So thank you all for your support, and I'll talk to you all later.